Israel's attacks on Gaza continue, with the Nuseirat refugee camp still a focus for Israeli troops. At least 4 Palestinians have been killed on Monday and 32 others wounded. In the early hours, hundreds of Palestinians tried to return to the north of Gaza using the main Rashid road, but they were stopped by Israeli tanks which blocked the roads and opened fire. A number of injuries have been recorded.
They said they are going back to Gaza City, so I came with the children who are with me, 2 girls and a boy, and we've been walking for nearly 3 hours. We got to the checkpoint there was shooting at people and they said to go back, so we returned. They then said they were letting women and children in, so I head back there again. We said maybe we can reach and get in. There was shooting at people again and there was shelling, and now we've returned. We dream of going back to Gaza City, God willing. We spent the first 3 months in Khan Yunis, we stayed at the Red Crescent, then the Jews, Israelis, pushed us out with tanks, so we went to Nuseirat, we were displaced, and here we're staying as refugees, displaced, staying in tents. They put us out, God willing they let us back, there's nowhere for us, no place we can settle in, we've been thrown into the street, in tents, where can we go?
Well, for more on this, let's bring in security and defence expert, Professor Alao. He's a visiting fellow, senior lecturer at the Nigeria Defence Academy. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. On Saturday night, into the early hours of Sunday, Iran launched more than 300 armed drones and missiles at Israel. Tehran has said the point wasn't to cause huge amounts of damage, but to show Israel that it will respond to provocations. Do you think the Iranians got their message across?
Yes, indeed, without doubt. Without doubt.
What sort of message did it send? The
message is, don't tread on us. We're not a pushover. We were all witness when the Israel rained on an Iranian embassy in Damascus, whereby one of their most senior general was killed, apart from other personnel. So here we are. And again, they gave the warning. They didn't, not indiscreet. They make it open. They made it open that we are coming. Firstly, they closed their airspace and said, look, no commercial flights, whatever, in and out, before they knew they are coming. But despite, my take is this, again, it's not over until it's over, but Israel needs to be tamed.
But that gets quite nicely onto my next point, because Israel is now being pressured not to retaliate to this by both the US and the UK, which both intervened on Israel's behalf and shot down these missiles and drones. Will Benjamin Netanyahu listen to his Western allies? Do you think he will respond?
I guess he had no other alternative than to listen. It's like a sinking ship, or the one just about going down. I guess, my wide guess, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't want to go down quietly.
No, it's not really in Netanyahu's playbook to do anything quietly, is it? I mean, going back to what you mentioned there, the attack on Iran's consulate in Damascus, I mean, Israel violated the Vienna Convention with that. The protection of diplomatic premises, of diplomats, is one of the rules that keeps the world turning. How dangerous a precedent does that attack set?
Extremely dangerous. The sad story around it is that those now coming out to say, well, in this self-defense vis-a-vis America and UK and France, they never condemned this action, which I believe they must have known that Iran is not a pushover. Iran is none of any of those, Gulf state or Arab or those their satellite states. I mean, Iran is Iran. So, I mean, we saw it coming. It's just unfortunate.
And it's unusual for Iran to do this themselves. It's not unusual for them to use their proxies, so Hezbollah or the Houthis. Correct. That is fairly standard, but it does make this statement that actually Tehran is willing to do this on its own. Israel ran straight to the United Nations, which has been trying to pass resolutions against it for some time. It's been violating lots of conventions set out by the United Nations, but now it wants the United Nations' help.
Look, I mean, it's like a crying baby. The same very United Nations that is being violated, they give no regard to whatsoever called United Nations. UNRWA, which is also offshoot of United Nations, bomb, maim. I mean, how many United Nations personnel have been killed in Gaza?
175.
Which I would say this is a prelude to what happened, what we are seeing today.
Yeah.
Again, as I like to say to our audience, Iran is not like any other country in the Middle East. So, Israel needs to be tamed, to be focused. Netanyahu and his cohort need to be tamed.
And I mean, we see countries, including Italy, for instance, threatening sanctions on Iran for this attack. But we can't forget that, as you've just been saying there, this didn't come out of nowhere. It's because of Israel's war on Gaza. Yet there's been few threats towards Israel from the international community about that, over the killing of tens of thousands of civilians.
Well, even more than that, I mean, the clock doesn't start ticking on the October 7 as most do claim. So a lot has been happening. As Riley said earlier, they've been, I mean, it's been tit for tat between America, not just Israel. It's about, these are like a triangle. America on one side, Israel and Iran. So, you know what happened in Iraq, I believe, whereby one of their intelligence officer, one of the most senior intelligence officer was I mean, maybe with drone or one of those, I mean, sophisticated weapon was gone down. So again, Iran has been warned that it will come back, it was going to retaliate. But again, this is just a warning, because as we heard, it's only one child that was bruised or something like this, according to what we heard. And again, I would like to touch on, they said iron, that means so-called absolute security for Israel is not truly what it used to be, what we used to believe vis-a-vis the one they call Iron Dome. How come Iron Dome cannot see those missiles even falling? I remember not only through the, I guess, America or France or UK, they use, when they close the airspace, I mean, they use Jordanian airspace to kind of, I mean, take down some of the missiles and some of the drone missiles that have been thrown at Israel. Despite some still landed, not just anywhere in Israel, at their air base. That goes to show us that Iran has the capability. Netanyahu knew. He knew what he's getting through. But the problem here is this: is he going to listen, or he wants to go down and he doesn't care who is taking down with him? But I guess America must have had enough. Joe Biden has enough, I believe, because, you know, remember, it's his election period whereby himself, his second time is hanging on the valley. This might be tied to what happened in Gaza, and again we're having almost like World War III looming if this is not curtailed. So it's not over until it's over, but I guess it's going to take heed to what they're all telling him, that listen, you can't mess with Iran. Iran is not like any other state around in the Middle East.
Exactly. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and of course we'll be following those developments. But for the moment, Alao, thank you so much for joining me on Horizon Hour.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.